There is a tsunami coming, and this is what it looks like in the ripple effect. Your kids are distracted. You're distracted. I'm going to share with you the most motivating thing you're ever going to hear at this point in time in history, okay? So if this doesn't motivate you, like, this is going to raise the dead. When I say that, I mean it'll raise the dead in you, I'm sure, okay? So there's a tsunami coming. What is a tsunami? So a tsunami is an earthquake underwater, out at sea, and it's a ripple. And what happens is it builds as it gets close to shore, and eventually as it gets close, it gets massive. There's already been the earthquake. There is a tsunami coming. And this is what it looks like in the ripple effect. Your kids are distracted. You're distracted. You know, the tsunami is everything's changing very subtly. People are saying it's changing fast, but nothing like what is coming. Okay, so you see the way people connect, it's different. Everything is changing, but it's very subtle at the moment. There's never been a time in history like this. There's never been. Okay, so I'm going to tell you why you need to really prepare, and why this video is going to be the most important video you're probably going to watch all year. Okay, this is serious. This is serious. I would suggest get a pad, get a pen, maybe listen to it again and again. Let's take it back, okay, what's happened. So in the late 1800s, right, up until then, technology would double every 100 years. Okay, and at the end of the 1800s, where they started making cars, and then production lines, you know, there's this photo, goodness me, a photo, right, of the street taken in New York, the main drag, okay, all horses, back to back, nose to tail horses, jinkers, etc. Only and people were saying, right, oh man, what, there's 3 horses to every person. You know, you need a horse to ride, you need a horse to take the jinker, the family out, you need 1 or 2 horses to plough the paddocks, okay? And cars are coming in. Oh, nobody could say the horses are going to be gone. And there's this photo, 13 years later, same spot, you're looking down the main drag, not 1 horse in the photo. All cars, bumper to bumper. So that, and things were changing. Technology was doubling every 100 years, okay? And 13 years later, like the speed, AI is doubling. The technology around that is doubling every 6 weeks now, okay? So men I listen to, who mentor me, who coach me, who inspire me, men that are much smarter than me, okay? They're predicting that by the time 2030 happens, 50% of the jobs we know as men, right, will be gone. Won't exist no more. Technology will take it. They're saying 80% of women. You know, and it's around the same for if you don't have a college degree or something like that, man. And we're seeing in supermarkets, checkout people are gone. You know, we're seeing, like, you can see it in everywhere. It's very, very subtle. And the thing about back then, I'm not trying to put fear in you or scare you. I'm trying to shake you up, okay? Because we're actually going back in some areas, which is good. Like in the late 1800s, it was said that 97% of people were entrepreneurs. They grew their own fruit and veggies. Everyone had a business. Everyone had a form of income. You know, that's what's in our heart. But we got, for want of a better word, institutionalised in this industrial age and so forth. So same thing's happening, but it's never happened at a faster rate. The scale has never happened can happen like it's happening now, at the speed and the scale that things are happening. So pay close attention to what I'm saying in this next little bit, because I'm telling you, you can work around this. See, 90% of people are thinking, yeah, they're just sheep, okay? And I know if you're listening to this, you know something's going on. You know you need to grow. You know you need to change. So something that I've been talking about of late, and I'll say it again, and I'll tell you, when I first really heard about this and seen this, and you'll have sensed what I'm about to talk about. Talk about the 4 levels of value that every man will be operating at, okay? And you'll be at one or the other, okay? So the first level is implementation. Like, you just get a job and you just implement what you know, okay? You may even be a business owner, but you're still implementing things that you know. The second level, like the lowest level is implementation. The second lowest level is management, okay? So you're just managing people and things just to get by, to get things sorted, okay? Wait for the weekend so you can be happy or have joy, okay? The third highest level is when you actually are in a communication state. You're communicating a message, okay? You're inspiring people with that message. You're lifting people's frequency. You're communicating, generally it'll be around the mission that's in you, so it makes other people's lives better. And then of course the highest level of value is in imagination, like we're creating things in our mind. So when we can really operate in those top 2 levels, man, that's where the magic happens. That's where this other stuff that's happening in the world, okay? So like, for example, they can replace a lot of things, the old AI, and a lot of areas it should be replaced. It's ridiculous what people are doing, okay? But hear me out. Like, you are irreplaceable. You are irreplaceable. If you tap into that unique purpose, that unique gift, that unique talent that only you have. See, the thing is, and this is why 90% of people won't go down that track, because it takes courage. Because you go against what the 90% are doing. So if you've got the courage, keep listening, because I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I did it before I knew I was actually doing it, okay? Because that's the whole idea when you've been, I suppose, initiated and validated, encouraged, and in the right circle of people, got the right seat at the right table. You know when something's right. Principles and laws, they're standing the test of time. So, for example, okay, what happened to me, all right? On purpose, on mission, helping so many men, but men were reaching out to me everywhere, all around Australia. People were saying to me, Gav, can you bring what I'm doing with this boxing program, Fight Like a Pro, can you bring it? And it wasn't even a boxing program. It was, but what it was about, once you got in and did it, you realise it was actually an initiation program, it was a validation program. All those rite of passage principles happened. So it was always about who you had to become as a man to get in, to get up in front of 800, 1,000 people into a fight knowing you'd never fought before. Like, it was, who do you have to become? So, and a lot of men, maybe you've heard me say this, but what's happened, particularly the last few years. So anyway, let me, I don't want to get ahead of myself. So So that was happening, and I thought, I've got to reach more people, understand, purpose-driven, mission-focused, okay? So that's why I wrote that first book, A Rite of Passage for the Modern Man. So that was like in 2017. But it wasn't until, because everything has a season. And I've always been looked after. God's always looked after me. In 2019, I was feeling it for a little while, sensing it. I needed to get out of what I was doing so I could help more people. I didn't know how to do it or what to do. So I closed the gym, all right? It's done. Think I'm going to have a rest, I'm going to work out. I pull out that book that I wrote 2 years before. Actually, my son said, where's that book? I'd almost forgotten about it. I read the book with his mate, we put it online. All of a sudden, people were reading the book, buying it everywhere. Like I started everywhere all around Australia. Then it was like turned into a program. I took all the good stuff everything without the box in. I brought into to a 10-week program. Exactly the same, all about your head, all about the mindset. And so of course. Men are going, this is amazing, and then see how it developed into the Man Alive experience. Obviously, the pandemic happened, things took off. But I remember being on that Zoom one time. Do you know what I'm saying? All right, starting to communicate a message. There's a message in you, all right? I'm communicating my message, inspiring. I remember on Zoom seeing men in every state and territory in Australia. I remember then seeing men in New Zealand. I remember seeing on this Zoom, I remember seeing men in America, Europe, Canada, it just kept growing and growing because I understood my message, because I had the courage to go after it, even though everyone said it was impossible. Nearly everyone. I got a tight circle. They believed in me, but you get the 90% said it's never going to happen. So I did all that, right? I did all that, because you might be thinking, oh, that's all right for you, Gav. I did all that. I never learned to read and write as a kid. I've got every shortcoming, nearly every shortcoming known to man, right? But I know what I'm good at. I know what I can do. I know courage has been developed in me. I know faith runs deep in these veins, man. I will go all in. So look, there's principles, there's faith principles, there's law principles. You sow a seed, you're going to reap a harvest. There's all these things that you line up with your purpose, your mission. When you can do that now, and when I'm talking about this tsunami, okay, this tsunami, it's been coming for a long time, okay? Pandemic sped things up. Now we've got AI. And this is the amazing thing, right? Back then, people would steal what I'd write and put their own name on it. There was people who built websites with me on it, stealing, directing the traffic to their, nowadays, right? Now what's happening, people are AIing me and putting my famous quotes up as theirs, etc. You see, this is what I want to say to you today, right? Is mindset, skill set, tool set. Okay, right now today we've got all the access to the skill set. I remember back in 2019 employing VAs from the Philippines, and I remember looking at their resume. What? You got to be kidding me! Their resume was like, I should walk over there. I should fly there and carry your briefcase. Like, the credentials are amazing. We've got access to so much value in this world if you've got the courage. Now we've got AI. We don't even need them. We don't need. We've got the skill set and the tool set. We've got it. But this is what I want to say. What's not replaceable is you. The whole world's it's going up here and it's going to come back in a totally different way, but the principles will be the same. Everyone's looking to be an entrepreneur, exactly like the 1800s and back from there. Okay, so that's exactly what's happening. So like I said, by 2013, you're going to wish, if you don't take action on what I'm saying today, you're going to be, your family are going to regret it. Your children's children are going to regret it. And like, as I said, everything's going to be able to, we're going to be able to replace things really quick. We're seeing it everywhere. I mean, open your eyes, you can see it, I'm sure you can. To the depth, I don't know how the depth is that you can see it, but I want to focus on really what I want to focus on, right? $100,000, right? Like $1 million today is like $100,000. And this is what the massive tsunami that's actually happening is with the economics. There's an economic tsunami. Middle class is going to be gone soon, okay? There's going to be have-nots and there's going to be haves. And this is when we talk about action. That's exactly what's going to happen, all right? The middle is going to be gone. So it's a unique time in history that you get to make a choice. You get to make a decision to actually become a have rather than a have not. Because over the next couple of years, it's going to get harder and harder to be first to the marketplace. It's going to be harder to be first in line, okay? There's literally going to be AI robots in front of you, okay? I'm being real here. I'm being real. So what can't be replaced is you. So if you can get this right, obviously I've got restricted time, but there's things in you that are irreplaceable, that are unique to you. Right? You can't be duplicated, right? It's called, there's foundational things inside of you. So, well, for example, with our mastermind, there's a foundation there, okay? Then we get into your mindset, your imagination, what's actually, your perspective is what it's actually called, okay? How you see things. Is more so how you see your future is more determined on how you're seeing the past. So we get your perspective right, okay? Well, you do, okay? And then of course, then what we get into is your dreams, the things in you that were placed there for a reason, okay? Because there's a purpose attached. But once we're clear on that, then we get into your mission. And for me, really what it's, you know, for the longest time I've heard people say, do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Well, I'm telling you, it's never been easier than right now than actually monetize your mission. It's never been easier. You know, I'm so fortunate that I've done it for years before AI, before, you know, back 20 years ago, okay? But it's never been easier now. So if you can, but you've got to have the right mindset. The skill set and the tool set, you can source all that stuff out. That's the easy bit. You know, that's actually the easy bit. But the mindset, there's a process there. Becoming a man of courage, becoming a visionary, opposed to the 90% that are just watching other people live their dreams, okay? That's it, and that's what I said. Now what is happening, $100,000 is like $1 million now. So if you don't know how to make $1 million, you got to find out. You got to find out because $100,000 is going to be like a have not. You can't live on $100,000. And what is happening is that's why people are spreading out to all these different countries now, for looking for a cheaper cost of living. Well, I'm telling you, you get to that level, you employ your purpose. If you can employ your mission, okay, you can do anything. You can go anywhere. You're not restricted. That's what you call freedom. So, hey, listen, I'm cutting to the chase here, but if you don't know how to make $1 million, best you find out how. I'm telling you. And that's actually, and because things are changing. In fact, I'm changing. For the longest time, it was always about a rite of passage. Okay, rite of passage for the modern man, which is still obviously at the highest level. You know, without that, you don't know who you are. Okay, but then even the Man Alive experience is all about, you know, really finding your mission. Okay, man without a purpose is, well, I don't know even if he's a man. He's not fulfilling what is in him, okay? So you need a purpose to actually come alive, okay? So now it's about the mission. So now I'm transitioning. How do we monetize your mission? Like, and if you don't know, because I understand how to do it, I've done it. I'm doing it. I'm growing it. I'm helping other people to do it. Yeah, man. And if you don't do it, man, somebody's going to have it done. They're going to do it in front of you. Probably going to get a robot. So, man, the whole unique gift that you have, that's the thing you got to focus on. So, hey, listen, I hope this inspired you. I hope it's a wake-up call. I hope you say, Gav, I need to get this started. I need to take action now. So, my suggestion would be, maybe the next step would be look at becoming a better man 5-day challenge. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. If you're unsure in the air, I need to know more, become a better man 5-day challenge. It will change your life for the rest of your life. Thank you for listening. Over and out.